This is Jam Nation
with Jonesy and Amanda.
We've just been discussing that it's 10 years since Julia Gillard delivered the speech of her life, a speech that would go on to become a rallying cry for women everywhere who've been subjected to sexism, to misogyny in their personal and their working lives. A decade on, what has changed and what has stayed the same? Julia has released a new book edited by her called Not Now, Not Ever. She joins us now. Julia, hello.
Hello, lovely to be with you. Long time.
It's so great to see you.
Great to be back.
Not since you brought us a cheesecake. Remember when you brought us a cheesecake?
Oh dear, bribery and corruption scandal.
Look out
There'll be
for
an
ICAC.
inquiry. That's right. When you made this speech 10 years ago, were you aware the impact it would have? At the time, did you feel that you owned the moment and you knew it?
I felt I owned the moment in the sense that it was a powerful speech in the Parliament. I mean, you can tell because you're very close to the opposition how they're reacting. You can read the body language, and they went from kind of, heads up, animated, yelling at me, to heads down, looking at their phones. So I knew it had been a powerful speech in the Parliament, but I had no idea we would be talking about it a week later, let alone 10 years later. No idea at all.
This book is extraordinary, with many women's experiences, not just about how they felt about your speech and how galvanising it was, but misogyny in their own lives. So interested in the chapter by Jennifer Palmieri. She was Hillary Clinton's campaign communications director. And she says that Hillary was the one that had to school her in saying how hard this will be for Julia to become president of the US, so for Hillary to become the first female president. Jennifer said, well, this shouldn't be too hard. And Hillary was one who had to say, this will be almost impossible.
Yeah, Jennifer Palmieri's chapter is fantastic. I mean, I think this is a great collection of essays for a great cause. All of the proceeds go to support the work of the Global Institute for Women's Leadership. And I think that Hillary-Jennifer discussion actually shines a light on a broader problem, which is a lot of people think, gender inequality, haven't we fixed that already? I mean, after all, we've had one woman prime minister, it must all be fixed now. But it's really, when you look at the statistics here in Australia, let alone globally, still a very entrenched problem. I mean, whether we're looking at parliaments, at businesses, at the news media, at technology, still we disproportionately see men at the top, and women from their own lives know that there are gendered hurdles in their way, and there are still sexist stereotypes that are brought to bear and that they end up getting very frustrated around. So more to do, and we'll only have reached equality when you look at the top, and 50% of the time you're seeing a woman. So it's not about one woman prime minister, it's basically about over a 20, 30, 40-year period, half of the prime ministers being women.
And the vitriol really turns, Amanda just said this before, and you summed it up so well, it just gets so personal. If a powerful woman says something, it's always something about how they look or something sexual. And
yes, Annabelle Crabb kind of nailed that in here. She said how any criticism becomes a criticism of either your appearance or it's aggressively sexual in nature.
Yeah, I think Annabelle's really pointing a light on the way in which things that potentially wouldn't be said face-to-face anymore still get a huge run on social media, and the anonymity of social media means people do go from, I didn't like what you said on TV, to, you should be raped and killed. She points out that can be 2 or 3 tweets and people are in that violent misogynist zone. So I think there's a lot to think about with social media and how we make it safer for women. Now, I'm not a technology person, I can basically use my phone and that's it. But it seems to me that there are smart technology people who could be amending the algorithms of social media so women don't face this time after time. In face-to-face life, in the real world, to use that terminology, I think the face of sexism and misogyny today is a bit more benign than what you would read on social media, but it's still excluding. It's the things like, oh, don't get too upset, why don't you lighten up? Why don't you smile a bit more? The stereotypes that a woman who has power is probably a pretty nasty person. All of those come into play. And I've met hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of women who have got their own story about all of that.
Do you find from in the 10 years, like people like Tony Abbott, has any of those people that were in opposition when you were doing that speech, has anyone said, you know what, you were right?
No, I wish I could say there'd been some outbreak of bipartisanship, but that's not my expectation. And in many ways, it doesn't really matter because for me, it's not about looking back then and working out, who should say what to who about it. That's not my interest. I only look back to distill the lessons that we can take forward as we're still on this quest to change the world. And the Global Institute for Women's Leadership is all about that. It's all about the evidence and the most effective toolkit for change so we get this job done as quickly as possible.
Oh.
Well, Julia, it's great. It's great to see you again. Not ever. Edited by Julia Gillard. It's out now in all good bookstores.
It is fantastic.
And online. We look forward to you coming to the studio and bringing yet another cheesecake.
You're on.
We'll hold you to that.
So nice to talk to you, Julia. You take care.
Very nice to see you. Thanks so